It's June 8th. I'm back out at the farm. Yesterday I did a demonstration at Beyond the Backyard, and then the wife and I we loafed. Still waiting for my body battery to return to normal. It's slowly recovering. I'm not going to do a high volume today. I need to get a part on my motor, my Rotex repaired before I run with it again. So I'm just going to practice cold starts. Which basically I'll show you later. It's just one of the things that you do in order to get this motor up. But so today I'm just going to warm up with single buck and then climb on that tree on the same holes, and then I'm going to take it down after the session's over, flop it upside down, and be an idiot. So this is going to be an interesting session. I might chop a little bit more than what I've been because I'm really wanting to sort something out that have been marinating in my head. Right now, always after Webster, there's this massive circuit of wood chopping that goes on in Queensland, where I think they do like 14 or 15 shows in 3 weeks. Bunch of just an incredible circuit. They cut a mixture of hardwood and softwood. And I think next year my wife and I are going to do that. You only live once. But anyway, watching the guys like Braden Meyer and Josh Adamson, and watching Gerald and Jake Dingle and Brian Wagner, etc., watching them cut. It's an amazing line of axemen just there in Queensland. And watching them cut makes me look at some things, and I'm thinking, why am I not doing that? Why am I not doing that? And so it's just a little thing at the very end of my swing, both in the underhand and standing, that I did when I was younger. I don't see why I can't do it now. So I'm probably going to cut a few more blocks than I normally would today, and I may cut them under less than race conditions. Hole I go, this is just a 10-inch log on top. Same board holes as before. I'm going to try and get back a little further so I can get my hand down the end of the handle. We'll see what happens. Anytime my back foot gets below my front foot, I get a little bit hesitant. It's one of the reasons why I prefer to have a higher pitch board. It's just personal preference. Again, great tip from Lawrence yesterday. Got to keep that top pocket close to me. And so I'm going to work on that with my next round of tree poles, which I think I'm going to be able to pick up on Friday is my goal, hopefully. And so I'll be able to start that training on the following Sunday when Grant and I get together. So we'll see what happens. One may think of stock saw racing on timber sports as not overly important because it's just picking up a saw and putting it in the wood, making two cuts. However, there's a lot more to it than that. A lot of guys really are quick to the wood and stuff like that. And the more I try to be quick, the more I mess up the cuts. And so probably the more important thing is making sure that you make those cuts nice and even and consistent, have good changeovers, and it's extremely important for the overall placement because it is the one event that people have a tendency to mess up. And so it's the reason why I train it, and the reason why I'm going to continue to train it. And I got a round of fresh logs to put up here over the course of the next 6-8 weeks in order to get ready for this. And hopefully my other motor will be ready soon, my other big motor. And once I have it ready, I'm going to start alternating back and forth with the Rotex and with Peggy, is what I'll call her. I got Lottie and Peggy. I've got a 38-inch pine that I trimmed down with a chainsaw. Took the blue cheese stuff, or most of it, off the side. I'm going to use an axe that Gerald did up for me. It's a 38. We'll see how it likes this wood, because honestly I haven't tried it in this stuff yet, and I have a feeling it's going to go pretty well because it was made for hoop and or radiata, so it should be pretty good. Five hits on that dry little bastard. Anyway, make a couple board holes in it. Might be good for something. This next log is just an underhand. It's a little foot underhand. It's dry. I'm using another small 2-axe that I may need to touch up a little bit. But what I'm working on here is something that kind of dawned on me a couple of days ago, and it was honestly from watching Braden Meyer cut that little underhand and training in the backyard, because what he does with how tidy he is one thing, but also he gets amazing extension with his arms, and so I have a tendency to hit with bent arms, and I think I'm trying to get that straightness in my arm. So I'm going to be a bit deliberate with this one, cut half and half, and try and get my scarfs lined up and try and get the axe in the position that I want it, being deliberate with a decent axe. I'm having a little issue with my Rotex now, but what I'm going to do is I want to show you guys how to do a practice race start that David Moses taught me that works really well. Basically what you do is you take the spark plug out. You, instead of pulling the motor over dry, you get a squirter, put your fuel in. You just add a squirt down into where the spark plug is at so the cylinder is nice and lubed up. And then you go through the week sequence of making sure your decompression buttons is on, your oiler's on, everything is on, throttle's locked. Give it a rip, put it on the wood. So it is the basic concept of practicing a race start without actually doing the race start. And I always like to tell people, as Mike Sullivan taught me, you want to put yourself in the position to be in the upcut. This down cut is very uncomfortable. This first cookie is always uncomfortable. I've gotten to a point where I make a step with my left foot. Ideally, you don't move your feet when you hot saw, but I'm trying. On that one, I actually pulled it up into my leg. So these are the reason why you do these things, is because you try to become more repetitive with it. I'm going to do a couple more of these, and I'll call it a day, and I'll put the spark plug back in. And then when Grant comes down, hopefully he'll take it home, give it a nice how's your father, and fix or at least temporarily fix the issue that'll get me through the next couple months. And then I'll run the other motor the rest of the season. All right, I've got a 38-inch pine, and I am going to test an axe that I've honestly never used before. It was new last year, and just haven't had an opportunity to freaking use it. I'm going to see how it cuts. I don't know what to expect. I'm going to do a different axe in the back, so I'm just going to go half and half on this one. And I'm going to do the same thing in the standing block. So here we go. That one's cutting pretty good. That's a 42 banana. This one is a 42-inch or 42 1-inch chisel. And we'll see how it goes on the backside. Nothing wrong with that one either. That's always a good problem to have. That one's cutting nice. Let's see how this goes. This is a 88 Brute. It's a big banana. I call it MD. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I got a 38-inch pine, cutting half and half. I'm going to use a different axe on the back, just like I did on the other one. Just trying to keep the intensity a little low because I've been pushing it pretty hard. So this will probably be the last thing I do today, and then what I'll do is I'll go work up a bunch of logs before I head home. By that, I will trim the crap off the outsides with a chainsaw, and then brush them down, and then wrap them, and then sand them up, and hopefully get rid of all the dry shit so I can train on it with some decent gear. That's just a little big for me, and I didn't quite have enough axe hanging out on the far. Not much double cutting there, but a little bit, and so I didn't quite get where I needed to be with the 7th hit, which was my first drive up, which was the far. So I doubt very seriously I can cut this in 8 in the back, but I'm going to use a 42 that I haven't used. I'll call it Shockwaves 2.0. It's out of respect for Shockwaves. Whether or not I can talk about that's a different story. But that actually got pretty fucking good. Shockwaves 2.0, I believe, is a 42. I prefer that 42 size to that 88 every day. It just feels better. Even though the Brute 88s are much more balanced, in my opinion, than the 288s. It's just that I'm too old to swing that big fucking axe, and a 42 and a 2 and a 52, that's about my limit. 2 is my perfect axe. I love 2s. But anyway, I'm going to clean stuff up here and go trim some logs. I'll show you what I'm doing. It's bullshit. It's just something I do I got a bunch of pine that I've had sitting in the backyard that I need to wrap up and preserve, otherwise it's going to freaking rot. And so I'm preserving it, if that makes sense.